Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
All right, what's up? What's going on, everybody? Shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to those of you who dropped the early comments, the early bird squad, as I call you. As always, I like to read the first few comments. Shout out to Deacon Dave. He says, F it. As soon as a woman runs to put you on child support, she is an op. It's a tool used to handicap you, especially if she does not try to form an agreement / schedule with you first. I can agree with that. If there's not even an attempt at something normal, you know, if that's just the first automatic default to go put your kid in the system, put you in the system, if her default is the system before anything that works, and then if you try to do something that worked, the second she get mad, she go to the system, and then you've done nothing, even though you've been taking care of your kids for 3 or 4 years or whatever. Then she go to the system and say you've done nothing, and then now you gotta now it's back pay on all that. It's like yeah. So something very operative about going to the system. But shout out to Deacon Dave. Do appreciate you coming through. Free Zone Lou in the building, who we will be responding to. I don't even know if you know this. I don't know if you and Hood Server have had a conversation about this, but we will be actually responding to something that you clipped on your channel. We responded to one of your clips, like when you clip other people that are not a part of the Black Manosphere. You clip the enemies of the space than the space itself. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. Free Zone Lou in the building says, let's go. Another Saturday classic in the making. Salute BR and Hood. What I mean, the space. What is the space? Never mind. Whole nother debate. Anyway, shout out to Free Zone Lou. Do appreciate you and appreciate Winthrop in the building. Thank you for coming on through. No one in the building says the title with some laughing face emojis. And he goes on to say, I thought baby mama was the OG ops. Okay. Most won't kill you, just leave you barely alive. Appreciate you coming through. And shout out to Hoop Jargon coming through. Shout out to Hoop Jargon. All right. Let's get into this. And as usual on Saturday, Hood Server just comes up with the majority of the topics here. So he came up with this one. So we're about to get into it. We're about to dig into it. So go ahead and give us your thought process in this whole thing. The whole title, I worded it a little different from what you suggested, but it's pretty much the same thing. When you should view, I think you were saying, when is it okay to view your baby mama as the ops? let's go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, and you actually right. I gave Free Zone a heads up a little while ago before the show started because we do talk a little bit off YouTube. So yeah, I did give him a heads up, and shout out to Free Zone Lou for clipping this because I probably wouldn't have ever caught it. And I'm going to give people a little bit of a trigger warning. Some of the individuals that we're about to listen to are not the most well loved in this space. However, this is not about the individuals per se, so I'm not going to go off on any sort of personal rant about the people involved. But I think they're making some interesting points. But on both sides of the argument, and even though I tend to side on one side of the argument, I thought this was a great conversation, so both sides can actually be fleshed out, and maybe we can even expand on the conversation a little bit here because what I heard was actually a very critical subject. When is it okay to consider your baby mom the ops? And so you get one side of the argument saying that, listen, just like the comment you kind of just read, like she the OG ops. She's the ops soon as the baby comes. Like the minute she's pregnant, she starts to become your enemy essentially. And then you get another side of the argument saying, but like those are your kids, and you can't you essentially have to be the bigger person, even if she behaves in a way that can legitimately be criticized or called, the op. You still have to be the bigger person. Like you're the man. You got to alpha your way through it and all that. And so this is a conversation that kind of caught me by surprise. Well, not by surprise, but I thought it was interesting. Like, damn, we got to get out of this rut. I think it's a sort of like and you'll kind of understand as the conversation as we play the audio, but it feels like a mental trap for the men to be in, and the women have no urgency or desire even to do anything on their part to make things better. It's all on the man, and it winds up being this mental hamster wheel that men can never get off without just breaking the whole wheel. And so that's what the conversation is basically. Is it ever okay to break the hamster wheel?
Hmm. Is it ever okay to just break the hamster wheel? No. Good stuff. Good stuff. I like how you worded that. Now, just for the sake of to be in the business of being specific and making sure we understand what we're talking about here, because black people have a tendency to overuse terms. Everybody gets called the ops. You know, I've heard everybody from Andrew Tate and Kevin Samuels being called the ops to the smallest YouTuber with three people watching him when he go live get called the ops. So let's everybody gets called the ops. So let's just give a clear, concise definition. What does that mean to be the ops?
Okay, I look at it like this. And this is something that I've accepted from personal experience, personal history, right? As a black man, especially as a black man, when you want to be the leader and you have a vision for how your family should look, how your family should operate, the only person who's going to crush that dream is not a white man. It is not the law per se. Like it's not the cop down the street. It is her. She might get the cop involved, right? She might call the white man to back her up. But the simple fact is, the biggest killer of the black man's dreams is the black woman,
Mm-hmm.
and that gets you classified as an op.
Yeah. So I guess a concise definition is there's the system itself, but the person who's working as a part of that system or using that system to bring you down, that would essentially be the ops, in other words.
Well, right. It's sort of like blaming the gun. The system is an inanimate object. It doesn't
Yeah.
breathe on its own. It doesn't eat or think on its
Mm-hmm.
own, but you can aim it at another person as a weapon and it will do what it's programmed to do. And so saying that it's the system's fault is like somebody getting shot and then everybody blaming the gun. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, no, no. The system didn't pick you as an enemy. You didn't sleep with the system. You're not having a baby with the system. And so it becomes this little quasi gray area where people can hide in. But I like to simplify things. You being the op, introduced the system into our situation. That's why you're the op. That's what ops do.
Yeah. Got you. Got you. Got you. All right. All right. So We about to go ahead and get into it. I don't know if you got anything else you want to say before we put up the not so beautiful bean footage or beautiful bean footage. We'll see. But
No, let's
I
jump
love you.
into it and do some, stop and start and pause
All right,
and
all right,
analysis.
all right.
I was
How to
able to
support our
use,
kids
The government want to make sure you supporting your
but
kids.
you got to use it
by
to your
taking your
advantage,
license
though,
and putting you
man.
in jail. How is that helping you? How is that supporting your child if you putting
It's
them in
supposed to
jail
be
and
a
taking away his
punishment.
license?
Take
Bruh,
them
you got to
kids
use that
or
shit to
go
your
to jail.
advantage.
Okay, so if you're not paying your $32 and then at the same breath, if
No, we're
you
not
pay
talking about
$32
$32.
and say, oh,
$32 ain't
That's the
shit. We're
average
talking about
payment, bro.
overall.
Don't
like,
argue
what
with
are
it. That's
you
the average
really
payment.
doing?
Don't argue with
$32
them.
not really supporting your child anyway. So stop it. Either you're gonna be a
Yeah,
father or you
pause it real
not. Do
quick.
the right thing or you not.
All right.
Right away. Let's just give a little introduction to this. This is a conversation that took place on Jay Prince's channel.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
okay,
no, sorry, I was coughing. So, this is a conversation that took Prince on Jay Prince's channel, and basically, I think he was sort of laying out the premise of the baby mama being an ops, and so now we're at the panel part of the discussion, and one of the things that I've always one of the things that I've noticed as time went on about how the idea of a man taking care of his kids, generally speaking, what most people mean, men and women, because I don't think men even realize what they're telling other men to do. Generally speaking, when they tell a man to take care of his kids, they're mostly talking about money.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a practical reality, unless you're like living in a situation with your kids, the everyday taking care of them is out of the window. And frankly, for you to try to insert yourself like that would only cause more friction because, bitch is the ops. So it wouldn't really help you to even try to assert yourself in that way. So the only thing you really could do that's measurable and frankly, sort of like the reparations argument, is all people really care about is putting money on the table. That's all they really mean when they say a man got to take care of his kids. They don't want your fatherhood. They don't give a fuck about your wisdom and your guidance. Put some money on the table so you can be a good little nigga.
Yeah. And then there's that $32 is the average payment. Now, I did watch the beginning of this, and they're going to say $300 a month is the average payment. So, I mean, 32 per week does not add up to 300 per month. I don't know what the hell they talking about with the numbers and the math on what the average payment is. I do know that there are some women who they put the dad on child support. They know he ain't got a damn job, but they on assistance, so they got to name a dad. So they named they named the deadbeat, the broke dude that knocked him up, whatever we gonna call him. He get named as the father on paper, and because he don't have an income, his stuff it comes up to a ridiculously low amount per month. Like dude's child support, I've heard be like $40 a month, $20 a month, something ridiculous, $5 a week, something like that. I've heard ridiculous.
There's a good reason for that. It's called getting blood from a stone. Have you ever tried that?
No.
Yeah, squeeze a rock and see how much blood comes out. You'll probably you'll get your own blood before you get blood from a stone. That's why these guys only have a $5 child support bill. You fuck the brokest dude in the brokest region and the brokest state of America, well, $5 is what you get.
Yeah, but the funny thing about that, is that $5 child support dude probably brings the total number down to where now they can gaslight in an argument and say, y'all saying all this over $32. That that's what they end up doing.
Well,
but they
it's
can
the
make that
principle of
argument.
the thing.
Yeah, but
there
they
is
can
a
make.
principle.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. There is a principle attached to it. Basically, he's broke, right? Mm-hmm. Now, what isn't being said in this is she's fucking broke too. Mm-hmm. And out of these two broke individuals who had a broke baby, only one of them gets threatened by the government. So him being broke gets punished. Him being a broke parent gets punished. her being a broke parent gets rewarded. And then she wants to look at me like we're equals. We are not equal. My life is infinitely more difficult than yours.
Right.
And if you claim you care about your child, you are the one who should absolutely be there for your child. And that's just about it. Like, you cannot complain about something you don't want to do.
All right, Free Zone Lou. Do you know who the hell? I mean, do you know who the hell this guy that's his logo? You know who the hell that is? Hood Server, do you know? I'm asking you.
Yeah, I think his name is Antoine Dubaclay. He's let's just call him a gulag hero. He's a proud black slave owner. You niggas better get to work.
Oh, this was a black slave owner.
Yeah, notorious one at that.
Oh wow, interesting. I'm still waiting on that movie. I saw a small taste of it in the TV show that came out probably 2016-ish called Underground, where one of the guys who was like the black overseer on the plantation. He was biracial. He was the overseer. He was pretty hard on the slaves, but he was really just out for himself and his own, benefit and power or whatever. But when they decided they was about to run away, he joined with them and ran away. Everybody thought that he would be the one that would stay or would snitch on them. They're like, "What the hell are you doing here?" It's like, "We running away, right?" They're like, "What the fuck you mean we?"
That is hilarious. I wish I could have saw that. What you mean we?
But no, it gets worse. It was a time jump in the movie where, now these ran away slaves who on the run, they bouncing from here to there. They find out that there's this, I don't know how they ended up entangled. There's some plantation where it's this slave master who they keep hearing, horror stories about. He the worst, meanest, roughest, toughest slave master in all the land. And then they ended up entangled with his plantation somehow. And then they finally met the man. This was probably like, it was a time jump of like a year or two, or I don't know. And then when they finally saw the dude who was the slave master they've been hearing all about, it was the dude that they ran away with. It's like, so he like came up somehow and got his own land and his own plantation and had slaves.
My nigga.
Yeah, like I was like, wow, but it
well,
was
no, I think black people have been shielded from certain realities because one, it would break the magic spell that we're under, and then two, it would cause us to look at ourselves and do some sort of one, self-reflection, and then two, we would have to acknowledge that maybe everybody is capable of this. It's not just a white thing, right? And so look at the movie Django, right? What did Django tell them slaves on the march to Candyland? You guys remember that scene where Django was walking, he was on the horse and they were all on the way back to Candyland. This is after they met Mr. Candy and they were still negotiating or whatever. They hadn't actually got to the farm yet. And one of the slaves, actually the slave that wound up getting set free at the end of the movie, if you watch that was a little storyline in and of itself. The little interplay between Jamie Foxx and that moment, and then that slave that he wound up freeing at the end of the movie, same guy. And basically, Jamie Foxx tells all the slaves, "You niggas gonna find out something about me. I'm worse than any white man you ever seen before." I think he was drawing on real history.
Wait a minute. Okay, I want to just go with what you're saying, but wasn't in that moment, wasn't Django like playing, pretending like a black slaver at the time?
Yeah, but what did he tell the doctor about black slavers? He said that's probably okay then. So extrapolate.
Okay, all right, cool. Let's get back into it. But Free Zone Lou, who provided this clip, he says, shout out to Antoine Dubaclay, man of many achievements, black slave owner, state treasury of Louisiana. He saved the state from going bankrupt in the 1860s. All right. So now I know who that is in that picture that he uses. All right.
like you chose not to do. Like, just stop.
The average monthly payment, y'all, for a month is $300, fam. And I know more people pay more because some people don't pay none.
So where do they get that $32 from? There's no math that goes from.
Well, the math is varying from state to state, so it would be hard to actually pin down any one number as universally true. But generally speaking, like say I know the New York State system, right? It's basically if you make more than a certain amount of money, it becomes 17% of your income, and then it decreases with each child after that first child. So the first child will get the full 17, the next child will get slightly less, and then so on. Whereas if you make below that threshold, I forget what exactly the threshold is. It's like just under 20 grand a year. But if you make below that threshold, you get basically a standard minimum payment, which back then I was, super duper off the grid. So I was basically homeless and broke according to the state. So I walked out the courtroom and the judge was like $50 a month. And I looked at my baby mama. I was like, the judge told you exactly what you worth, didn't she? And I just kept it pushing because that's what they give you, $50 a month at that threshold. So that number might change from state to state, but yeah, that's pretty much the game.
All right. Theo in the building with a very odd amount, $33. $33 in the building. Do appreciate that. He said this super chat is worth more than that ABW. I agree. I agree. But no, thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that, Theo. Do appreciate that.
What do we get for $10? Everything you...
Wait a minute. What's this?
That was some quick.
Wait a minute. What's this? Wait a minute. What's this? This ain't enough. Make it enough.
That added up to 33. Good job. All right. And to someone who says, this is this Taz and Nyla. Look. This ain't their channel. This is Jay Prince's channel. Taz happened to be on there. It was an interesting conversation. Yes, we understand there's a history with Taz. I mean, hell, there's a history there. But we looking at the conversation and what was said here. This ain't we ain't trying to ride on nobody. This ain't that. It was an interesting conversation taking place, and we're using it as a backdrop to further speak on it. So no. Put it in the hoister. This ain't that. That ain't what we doing. But it is an interesting conversation that took place. So we're about to piggyback on it. And Free Zone Lou clipped it. So let's go.
It evens out at 300, but that is not. Don't even argue how much you pay because it's. You know what I'm saying? It's different. It's different for everybody.
It is. It's based on your income.
No, in Parody, not back in my algorithm. Free Zone Lou clipped it. They can Free Zone Lou's algorithm.
Yeah, the algorithm is safe.
No, seriously, no, they not even in my. I don't even know what's going on with them nowadays. I don't even know what's going on with them nowadays.
Me neither. That's what I said. I haven't really heard from him for a couple of years, and that's because I stopped watching and clicking on those links, and then the algorithm cleans it up after a while.
Yeah. So yeah. All right, well, back to it.
Based on your income, yeah. And guess what?
Yeah.
If you keep on talking,
the more you make, the more they take.
Guess what? Every
The more
time
you make,
get
the
a
more
raise
they
at the
take.
job, they gonna do an increase. So cut the motherfucker
And
off.
if you
Stop
don't
talking
make,
to
and
them.
if you ain't working, they gonna take some back pay. They tax you like it's a payday loan, some heavy interest. Heavy interest.
If you keep on talking to that
But
motherfucker
should
and
we-
pissing her off,
but
every
shouldn't we
time you
talk
get a job,
abstinence, bro, at some point?
increase.
Right.
Yeah, what?
They won't help
She
you
gonna
get
go
a
back in
job
that
to pay that
office.
child support,
Look,
though.
at
They
some
won't
point
offer
it
you no
sounds-
resources.
And she
But
gonna
Vic-
tie your ass up again.
Okay, so I'm worried about
Hey,
pennies
But
on
Vic,
the
it sounds
dollar.
like
One second. Florida is actually hiring right now. I was talking about this last night because they didn't fired so many illegals. I'm like, this is like a job fair for black people. They didn't fired so many illegals. And so we were having a conversation about somebody should start a black men funneling system to get a lot of black men to these construction jobs down there. And the Republicans, they love to say, they're very blue pill. They try to keep guys, the man has to be responsible for the baby and da-da-da-da-da. And I just realized, I just had a brainstorm. They should create a funneling system for fathers in these programs like behind on child support. Get them funneled into the trades. Kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
It was just a thought, but yeah, because somebody said, get these guys jobs or whatever, since you're going to force them to pay some money. And that's the thing too about this whole system. I don't know if people really understand. Technically, I'm pretty sure this is highly unconstitutional, where the government in no other situation will force a private contract. I mean, will force a contract between two private citizens. Like, the government is essentially forcing you into a contract with another individual. And mind you, the government is enforcing the contract against you way more so than it enforces the contract against the other individual. So basically, the government is forcing you into a contract with a private individual who is partnered with the government. How is that not corrupt?
Fair point. Fair point. Shout out to car designer Chris. Moderators, drop his links in the chat room. I'll be forgetting that he do content over there. I met this gentleman in person multiple times. Drop his link over in the chat room. Hoop Jargon, somebody else who I also met in person. Do appreciate you coming on through. I didn't even read car designer Chris' comment. Okay, he just said support. Thank you for the support. Do appreciate that. Do appreciate you dropping $10 on it. Hoop Jargon in here dropping $2 on it. Do appreciate that. Appreciate everybody.
What do we get for $10?
Everything you want.
Appreciate everybody.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
And appreciate Dwayne Rhodes in the building. Says, has everyone read 4D Social Security Act? I think I said that right. Has everyone? Oh, I got it in front of me. Has everyone read 4D Social Security Act? No.
I think he's referring to a Title 4D, which is I think there's something that Trump put in place to it's like an immigration act. It's supposed to be like a tough immigration act, essentially. I don't know the details of it, but he's keeping people in Mexico is one thing I heard, the stay in Mexico thing. But basically that's ending and it's getting replaced with something else. And now we have basically an invasion force camped outside our border waiting to come in as soon as that old title gets out and a new title comes in. I'm not sure what's in the Social Security Act though.
All right.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
All right, getting back into it.
We make that maybe
Lord.
taking out of your checks or whatever, pennies, right? But you're not spending time with the child. You're not teaching your child.
Yeah.
Tell them,
You're
really?
around your
Tell them,
child.
really?
Why?
All right, I got to jump in right there. See, this is the thing that we're, again, it's gaslighting on the part of women when they try to say they just taking that little money out your check, but you ain't spending no time with the child. You ain't doing this with the child. You ain't doing that with the child. I will guarantee all of these women, if that guy came up and said, okay, as far as this whole child support thing that we going through it about, okay, I'm going to offer you the ultimate child support. How about this? We just get rid of get rid of the child support as we know it. I'll offer you the ultimate child support. 1 week with me, 1 week with you. I give the child all the child support that it needs the week that they're with me, and then you support the child when the child is with you. That's you can't ask for more child support than that. You don't get any money from me, but I support the child when it was my week. You support the child during your week. Let's go do that. Let's hold hands, walk into the courthouse, and dismantle, tear up the paperwork, get it all taken off the books. Let's go do that. Let's go do that. Guarantee 95% of them will say no.
And you already covered why. And as soon as you said money, because once you do that, she is no longer entitled to any state benefits.
I'm willing to say that even if you say that, let's just go with her $32. Even if that $32 a week stays on the table and he makes the same offer and you still get your little $32 that she claiming that child support only is worth, they still would say no. So they're on no moral grounds to tell a man what you're not doing as far as taking care of the kids, aside from the money that they're saying is not enough, but they wouldn't part ways with that not enough amount of money in exchange for 1 week on, 1 week off. Like that's the hypocrisy in this. That's the hypocrisy when they get to talking all of this bullshit that they talking.
You upset? Explain it to me. That was y'all choice at the end of the day. None of y'all was supposed to get custody.
When she put when that woman put your ass on child support, she the op. Why you still hanging around the op?
Why you mad?
Right, your baby.
Now, what he's saying right there is that when that woman put you on child support, because I don't know if through the music and all the people rambling on the panel, if it could be heard properly, but with the guy, I think the guy in the upper right hand corner with the hat on said, once she put you on child support, she's the ops. Why are you hanging around with the ops? So I think he's at the early stages of setting up his argument that once she put you on child support, she's basically is no talking to her.
Yeah,
no.
The guy is about to set up a really, really start. He's going to draw a hard line in the sand, and he's going to defend it fairly well, from my opinion. And that's why I wanted to offer this up as today's show, because this is a conversation I think should be had a little bit more publicly about the actual nature of this whole arrangement and what men could do if they was really, really serious about like moving the needle and causing a problem for the other side.
Now, this is an interesting concept here. This statement is deeper than what a lot of people realize. Brothers who sleep with their baby mama that got them on child support. And it looks like, I think that's a face palm emoji. Now, here's the deal. She still trusts you and have a relationship enough with you to have sex with you. But in the midst of this sex and this laying in the bed and pillow talking, and then I don't know, sometimes a kid come run in the room after it's like y'all periodically, sporadically posing as a family, But in the midst of all of that, y'all laying in the bed together Sunday morning. The kid came running and jumped in the bed. Y'all having normal looking shit, okay? Through the midst of all that, she's saying, yeah, nigga, I don't trust you to do anything right by me. So I got to have you on this system. I got to get my money electronically they got to go electronically, from you to the government, then to me. Okay. But yeah, we can lay up in here and pillow talk, and then let's start this new Netflix series together. But nigga, I'm keeping you on the books. It's like, that's some weird shit.
Big Biz 800, bro. You don't know me like that. I don't appreciate you telling all my business like that. And Bernard, I thought we was homies, bro. You got a lot of jokes, man. You got a lot of jokes. I thought we was boys.
My bad.
No, real shit though. Like I've been there. I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's crazy. It really is crazy, because after the fact, when you realize the level of deceit and deception, and on my channel last night, I gave a little a dissertation, if you will, about the psychology of a con. And basically what I said is that, one, you can't con an honest man. And so, two, the con plays on your greed and dishonesty, right? And then, three, you don't realize that you've been conned until it's all late. And then at a certain point along the way, you start to lie to yourself, which is what makes the con come together like glue. And I start thinking about the whole time, like, damn, man, you really was laid up with this bitch who was just lining you up the whole time. And it doesn't feel that way in the beginning, but once it's all over, it's like you almost have no other logical conclusion other than she was kind of setting you up for a while now, and you just didn't really get it. You thought you were doing the right thing.
All right. Yeah. SKC says, am I dreaming? Are they, hold on. Damn it. I can't even see what I'm, okay. It says, am I dreaming? Are they reviewing a B1 stream? No, not exactly. Actually, no. This conversation came from Jay Prince stream. Jay Prince he's one of the he's one of the people that came he from Fight Club, which is a subset of what Anton Daniels does, which was a subset of Lapeef. So he's like from that sector. And so, but the Taz is on his panel. That's what's happening here. So no, we're not doing that. The optics are not good right now for my show. I will say that the optics are not good, but but that's not exactly what's going on. Shout out to salute Dr. Thunder, salute.
We're just gonna push through the discomfort, bro. Just push right through it like nothing happened.
This was on Jay Prince. Free Zone Luke clipped it, and it was an interesting conversation about baby mamas being the ops, and that's that. So let's go. I hear Jay Prince is entertaining. I haven't really watched his stream. I saw a little bit of his stuff. I hear he's
he has moments. Now he has moments. I wouldn't call myself a fan per se, but like I don't hate the brother. You know, I want him to do well. He does have some little potential in him.
All right.
Your mom ain't the bro. Come on, man.
Damn, your baby mama.
That's what I'm saying. PhD. Hold on. Let me talk to PhD. Let's think about it. Why? Okay, that's just like, okay, I know this woman.
It's a big money grab, like your father said.
She already been on bullshit. Why in the hell would I keep on talking on the phone and discussing shit with the op? Every time I get an increase at the job,
man.
She know. So
that is
guess what?
Scary,
every time I piss
that
off, she going back to the white folk and get another bump up on pay, and then you wondering why your check steady decreases.
Bro, a couple years ago, man, I'd have took this clip, man, and drug your ass for that shit, bro. Like, nigga.
That's the op. It's a lot of men.
Now, right here. This is one of the things, and this is why, like, I believe in my own personal, like, YouTube efforts in my little channel or whatever. I don't talk directly to women. I have no interest in sort of appealing to the female psychology or whatever. And I think the reason for that is I think the problem is actually among men. We have to get, we need the bro code. We need that sense of like brotherhood and all that. And we don't really have that. And that's, I think that's kind of the problem here. It's like the women are allowed to play against those divisions between the men, while the men are essentially encouraging men to take an L. And I don't understand how that's good for men on the whole. We can't encourage each other to take L's at the hands of the women like that.
Men go dumpster diving to pin L's on other men, but overall, when it comes to, damn it, what was I going to say? Yeah, just the overall message of men. It's more men against it than what there are men that's for it. So we are legit in a situation. We are legit in a situation where it's men that got to be converted. It's not that women need to be convinced. It's not a situation that where women got to be convinced of anything. It's like they for the most part know what they're doing. They for the most part know what they're doing. Hold on, I got something. Shit. Especially my bad. Especially when it comes to stuff like the child support system and custody and all of that. They know what they're doing. It's men the majority of the time that are pushing back and fighting against men. It's like it's so many men that are doing the bidding of women. Put it like that. It's so many men that are doing the bidding of women.
What I've noticed over my time in the YouTube world is, especially on the black side, you might every now and then you might get this from like non-black women, but in the black space, I never hear a conversation like this. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people on this panel right now. You'll never see a panel of women like this getting on each other about doing the right thing by their man. I've never heard black women castigate other black women about doing the right thing by their man. It's always how you get over on a man, how you can actually get him to do this, how you manipulate a man, how you can break a man's will. They literally got books out about, how to destroy men and all this. Like, men hold each other to a moral standard in dealing with amoral creatures. And I think that needs to be called out. That needs to be sort of addressed for what it is. As men, we cannot hold each other to standards of high morality when essentially dealing with people who will manipulate your morality against you. They will use your morality to cripple you. How do you address that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Shout out to we got Stack or Starve in the building. We got Stack or Starve in the building. Just dropped a $10 cash app on it. Stack or Starve, do appreciate you.
What do we get for $10?
Everything you want.
Do appreciate you. The other super chats that were dropped, pull those up. Where we at? All right, we got car designer Chris back here with another one. Said reminds me of debtor's jail. Yeah, I can't even say that word. A debtor a prison is a prison for people who are unable to pay a debt. Until the mid 19th century, debtor's prison was outlawed. Absolutely. Thank you for
What do we get for $10?
Do appreciate you.
Now, I was going to say real quick, interesting point of fact though. Child support is the only legal end around to the debtor's prison. Like technically, child support is debtor's prison, and that's the only reason you'll ever be in jail for that situation. You know, like you never go to jail because you're broke and you owe the credit card and the bank and the utility company. That never happens.
Yeah, that's wild. That is wild. But Hoop Jargon Media Network back in the building says, swear this sounds like a 36 Mafia or a 3-6 Mafia intro. Perhaps.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
Appreciate it. All right. Getting back into it.
Day and age, bro, you got to be careful what you saying, bro. Like,
it is the op.
Listen, fam, listen. You have a child with a woman. You did that. That's on you, fam. How did she become the ops? Because she did something you ain't like?
Shit that they be doing to men throughout their child support deal. So why are you still hanging around and having conversation with this motherfucker? And she every time you get another penny,
does she have your child, Vic? Does she have your child? Does she have your child, Vic? And so how do you deal? Fam, so how do you deal with your child without dealing with her?
You cut that motherfucker off, and eventually, when you ain't paying her no attention, and she want to have a hot girl summer, that child gonna eventually start moving clothes in, and you eventually get that child. Cause she
so how long?
That was the hard line. That's what I meant. The man he's gonna draw a line in the sand, and this is not the first time I've ever heard that strategy. Let's call it a strategy. Male parenting strategies for the new millennium right here. Look, you cut that motherfucker off until he get tired of his mama or she. You know, girls hate their mama, especially after like 14. Oh, they really can't stand their mama. And so, you know, you cut that motherfucker off until they get tired of their mama. Now the trick is, and see, it kind of goes. No, it goes without saying, but your work is not simply sitting and waiting like a spider in a web, right? You literally have to have somewhere for them to go. You have to build the cushion for them to fall on if that's your plan. And even that, you know, nothing is guaranteed, but, you know, I guess this is just one strategy of many. But still, it's not simply just laying back for, 16 years. Like, no, by the time that day comes around, you have to have a whole new world. You know what I mean? Like Aladdin and Jasmine. You know, you got to have it all laid out for them. So that's really what he didn't say, but that's the only way to make that really feasible.
Yeah, here's the deal, and this is the part, and Taz, who I disagree with vast majority of the time. I don't even think I'm agreeing with him right here, but there is a line of logic, and they haven't got to the part where he said this. But so here's the deal: you draw that hard line and then she never releases the child. She never releases a child. So in order for that to logically work, you have to be that dude who's willing to, who are saying, I'm willing to totally walk away. And by my total walking away and separation from the whole situation completely, starving them out, so to speak, that's what's going to that's what's going to prompt, cause, or make her bring the child back to me on my terms. If that never happens, you have to be willing to say that I'm just not going to see this kid until he's 18. You got to be that cold blooded with it. That's what Mr. Palmer be saying. Ice water in your veins. You gotta be that cold blooded with it to where you're either going to have it absolutely 100% on your terms or not at all, and be okay with it. Now, again, like you always say, there's, like, you call it the good nigga tax. The guy who has a lot of decency in his heart won't be able to do that. Won't be able to play that game, because it's like playing chicken with a Mack truck. It's like you may very well, it may never happen. It may never happen. You just might just be just completely out of your kid's life, and you just got to be good with it. And I think that's where that's where it becomes a hard line. Now, before you respond to that, I will say something personally here. Women do have a tendency to get tired of kids. That does happen. I know, like, my youngest just turned 15. I didn't even realize it, but he's like, not. It was a time when it was like, we were splitting time. It was a time when it was 1 week on, 1 week off. Then it turned into 9 days for me, 5 days for her, 10 days for me, 4 days for her. Then I didn't even realize it, that now it's just like he's with me 100% of the time, and she just come see him here and there. Just come see him here and there. But part of it could be he's older. I don't know exactly what was the cause of that, but they do get tired of kids. They do get. I mean, it do come a time, especially with boys, where it's like they may word it as some, well, I just think he needs to be with his father, or this or that, or blah blah blah. But nah, you just done. You just throwing in the towel. It could be a number of things. It could be a number of things or a number of reasons. But either way it go, it does happen. It does happen. But you gotta to really execute, plot, plan, strategize, and try to do it the way that he's doing it. It's an amount of ice water in your veins that most dudes don't have if you're a decent dude. It's something that will work if you're already that dude that got a lot that came through the door with a lot of fuck them kids energy, and then it's almost like you're walking it backwards, intellectualizing the fuck them kids shit that you damn near was on to begin with. And that's why I sometimes don't like these arguments, but I understand in the art of war, doing what he's talking about is a viable option. There. That's my piece on that.
The War of the Roses. I think I'm gonna kind of reject all the decency and the nice guyness of the argument you just sort of laid out, and not out of malice, out of practicality, and I'm drawing on historical precedent here. I'm not gonna like go into uncharted territory, right? But I think the problem, and this is what I was getting to earlier when I was saying, how do you behave morally in the face of people who are amoral by nature? That's kind of what it seems like. Women are just naturally amoral. It's not that they're naturally bad. I just don't think their conceptions of good or bad have any real objective baseline. There's no logical chain through it. It's all based on what makes them feel good. And so as men, it becomes exceedingly difficult to expect fairness dealing in that type of realm. So I think your problem is this: you reject the concept of bastardy. And what I mean by that is, if you were to look, let's take a cultural touchstone everybody can relate to. Game of Thrones, right? Most people have seen or are familiar with the world of Game of Thrones, right? Bastards are a thing. The idea that I am a man of name and note, and I have a wife, and I also I was off on a mission. I was away from home, and I made a baby with some waitress or whatever, some maid in a lord's house. She gave it up to me one night, and then she had got pregnant, right? He is under no legal or moral obligation to care for that child. Mm-hmm. Nobody looks at him as somehow, well, he created a bastard. They kind of look at him a little bit negative. There is a little bit of negativity, especially if you're like a high noble, but nobody. Sorry, excuse me a second. Nobody expects anything great from him. I mean, nobody is looking at him as he's did something horribly wrong per se, but they don't expect him to now raise that child. That's like, if you go on and now raise that child, you are like super duper good guy. But generally, there was this concept of like, if it's not inside the marriage, it don't count. And I think once you get away from that, it's hard to hold up any other kind of order and morals.
Yeah, no, I definitely see that, and I don't have kids out of wedlock, so I don't even know how or where to process that one. It's a whole different dynamic that I'm glad I don't have to deal with. But I could definitely I see your point. I definitely see your point. It's hard for me to answer it in a more personalized, practical way, but I do definitely see the point in the stance of somebody who, this was just some chick, this was just some chick who's using the system against you, who's using that inanimate object, who's loading it, cocking it, aiming it, and shooting it at you. That's different. So I get it. Captain Cisco in the building says, have you seen this Christian content creator named Rulsan? He loves to challenge red pill guys. Everybody loves to challenge red pill guys, even red pill guys. So yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing nowadays. But no, I have not. No, I have not seen him. Shout out to car designer Chris. He says, that's why they came up with no, he says, I think he's saying, and that's why they came up with child support. I think he's saying that. Shout out to you. When you drop a member comment, for some reason I can't see it in StreamYard to put it up on the screen, but I can see it in the chat room. That's a weird imbalance in the features that they got going on there. But all right, let's get back into it. Hoop Jargon in the building says, swear this song. Okay, I already read that one. Okay, so I'm up to date on the super chat. Shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate you. All right, let's go.
So how long? You're not a father because you take them 3 months.
Hey, Vic, so how long of a process?
Hold on. She just said you're not. I think she said you're not a father because you take them 3 months out of the summer. Hold on.
So how long?
You're not a father because you take them 3 months.
Hey, Vic, so how long of a
I can't tell what she said. That's why I hate these streams. I mean, these panels, but I can't even tell what you said.
Sis, are we talking? How long does this take to materialize into something beneficial for you? How many hot girl summers?
Man, it could be a short period of time. When she get tired of the little bad motherfucker and you ain't getting her no play, and she can't piss you off no more, and she can't bother you, come over there fucking your life.
Bad and effort. Listen to this.
She get tired of the little bad motherfucker. Man, it could be a short period of time. When she get tired of the little bad motherfucker and you ain't getting her no play, and she can't piss you off no more, and she can't bother you, come over there fucking your life.
Bad and effort. Listen to this now.
That's what they call them. That's what they call them.
Well, why is your child a bad MF? That's your child.
That's
why
what
is your
mamas be calling them a lot of times, but they only holding on to them because they can fuck with your money.
So you don't want
That's what they call it.
All right, now he cooking on that one.
Yeah, he making a point.
You notice how he said that he called him a little bad motherfuckers, and she's like, why you calling him that? He's like, no, that's what they call him because they don't even like the kids. They just hanging on to him so they can fuck with you. But I'm gonna make myself not fuck wittable. You're not gonna be able to fuck with me. And once they realize they can't fuck with you, then now they're left with the kids that they don't want to deal with anyway. And they think the ultimate way that they can fuck with you is just throw the kids on you. That sounds like a win.
Yeah, and again, it takes a certain level of skill, and mostly I think it takes that we look at it as taking that much, like, you know, ice in your veins, like you keep saying, and well, Mr. Palmer keeps saying it, because that's the way we're kind of socialized, right? We're socialized into bearing all the burden of responsibility and morality, while the partner, the woman, the mom, she doesn't have to actually bear any moral responsibility. There is not one piece of moral shaming that goes into motherhood. Look at what she just tried to lay out. Oh, you get 3 months out of 12, I think she said. Like, you get like a couple of months out the year, basically, with your visitation, right? How do you think situations like that come about? Those are the numbers that the mother fights for. And so now, because the mother gets what she wants, you get to be called a bad father. Like, that's the trap. And the only way to look the only way to win that is to not give a fuck.
Yeah. Referring to that Bruce Land dude, what did y'all say his name was? He debated lead attorney, this guy. It's like he's saying, you got Russ Land. I had Russ Land winning against TLA. I mean, in Free Zone, you have a tendency to, I think, to root against, to root for Red Pill or Manosphere connected or adjacent men to lose anyway. Like, there's people that do that. That's what they do. And they root against the Red Pill. They root against Manosphere. They root against movements that speak up for men. They root for the detractors to win in debate against them. Or they watch the whole stream and find any little area where the person may have got the leg up on somebody who's Manosphere or Red Pill, and then highlight that and make a stream about it. Like, so I mean, you dabble in those dark arts. So I'm not shocked that you got him winning. But thanks for this clip though today. Thanks for this clip today. You know, took a slight shot, but I mean, everybody, like I said, everybody go dumpster dive independent L on any Manosphere or Manosphere adjacent channels. So yeah, I gotta see it myself. If you say the TLA lost in some debate to somebody.
Oh,
that's what they.
That's scary, Vic. That's scary, bro.
All of mine in my house. So what are you talking about?
Vic, it sounds like you're helping to create the problem, though.
No,
it don't sound
man,
like you're solving the problem. Because the problem, fam, wait 1 second, fam.
Have problems out of the women. Cut off.
Right, but well, no, you're gonna have problems. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why y'all even say shit like that. You're gonna have fucking problems out of the women. Man. That's gonna happen. How you deal with those problems?
Thank you, no one. I'm trusting your word. You said TLA took the Russ Land a dude out a month ago is clipped in shorts on TLA. TLA had old boy on roller skates at some points of that conversation. I figured that much. He normally do. He normally put people on skates, but then again, it's people who just love to find that one moment where somebody put the red pill on the ropes. I mean, and the so-called red pill people to do it. I don't get it. All right.
Is what we got to talk about. If you're going to deal with women, nigga, you're going to have some motherfucking problems, okay? That's life. There's no man going to have with those problems is what we got to talk about. If you're going to deal with women, nigga, you're going to have some motherfucking problems, okay? That's
all right. There's dealing with women problems, and then there's this person is actively using the system against you as a way to control and manipulate and fuck with you in any way, shape, or form with the backing of the United States government behind her. And that's where we're not talking about woman problems. You know, woman problems is me and my woman having a disagreement about something between us, and it caused a rift between the two of us, and so forth and so on. And you could extrapolate more problems that can come from that between us. Those are woman problems. when we're talking about somebody fucking with you about your kids and using the power of the United States government, aka being the op, to further fuck with you, those aren't woman problems. All right, that's something else. And so I don't think they get analyzed or used. Yeah, I don't think you process it the same way. And that's why, again, I've never went the route that the guy is talking about, but you know, there's extreme measures, you know, like in the movie, just A Time to Kill. There's a time to do what what this man is talking about. There's a time to do it. You can't just chalk it up as just woman problems. But that's my take on that.
Life. There's no man that's not having problems, but every man don't come out here and tell you niggas his problems. Some of y'all
don't have problems out of a person and you not dealing with, or you're not around, or don't have contact with.
Yes, you can. You absolutely can. Okay, but and if you talking about we talking about a baby mama, you can have more problems out of her without ever seeing her.
Taz, both of us men, right? You don't know me, I don't know you, right? We on this panel. As long as we going back and forth, it could be a problem, right? But if I choose to press this button and you can't even get a contact number, information, what problem I don't have out of you?
That's totally different,
bro. I don't know what you're talking about. Your children's mother.
You're talking about the mother of your child.
I'm trying to see how you get.
All right, Hood, my bad. This is about to be my last response to Free Zones. We got a separate conversation going on. All right, he's saying the problem comes when people try to remix Red Pill to make it something that it wasn't. I guarantee you cannot substantiate that claim that people like Rolo, who you're about to mention, is remixing it to make it something that he wasn't. When this man supposedly, I think, wrote the first Red Pill book. He says when they get challenged on what they say, they fold. The Rolo High Value Man conversation is a great example. All right, I didn't see all of that, but at the end of the day, what you're literally saying, Free Zone Lou, is that you are rooting for that you if you think Rolo got cooked in that debate in some way, shape, or form, you're basically saying you agree with the blue-haired male feminists. Like that's what I'm talking about. People who are supposedly red pill be rooting for pussy hat wearing feminists to win in a debate against a red pill man because it was maybe something that he said that was somebody found a small inconsistency out of 2 hours. Let's find this. Let's go dumpster diving for whatever we can find and find a little small part and make a mountain out of that molehill and say, oh, these red pill guys. It's like, no, it's fake. It's fake. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. And certain people that only criticize men that speak up for men and criticize women, and they only criticize the women that speak favorably of men, but they're supposedly somehow supposed to be for men. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Like y'all got on pussy hats when y'all do that. I'm sorry. Y'all become strags when y'all do that. What I just described, that's the same content strategy as a divester. If you're only criticizing the men that speak up, if you only criticize the men that criticize women, and you only criticize women that speak favorably of men, you got that's the same content strategy as Cynthia G. So it's like, no, it turns into bullshit. And people that operate like that, they're worse than Taz, because at least he over in a separate sector doing whatever the hell he doing with a separate audience. But y'all, that by definition makes y'all the ops. Y'all in here on the inside trying to tear shit down. It's like it's stupid. It's stupid. Y'all trying to blow the shit up from within, trying to dumpster dive for whatever L y'all can. The shit is ridiculous. The shit is ridiculous. All right, that's my last comment on that. That's a whole separate show. But all right, let's go back to the subject.
Hey, Big, but I'm asking if you. But Big, fam, I get the surface level understanding, but I'm asking you when you press the button, because nigga, I pressed the button. But what I'm asking is, okay, so when she don't call your ass back ever, when do you say, all right, I got the call? Like that. I'm not gonna let her control shit. I got a call. When do you take the next step? When she don't?
Man, that's the trap that y'all Negro fall in. She
Right, so stop right there then. So I'm asking you
girl, I got this bitch
so when do you see your fucking kids again, bro? When do you see your kids again,
Vic, if you don't talk to her?
Man, look, they ain't the only child ain't grow up with no daddy.
That's why I said this bad advice, y'all.
Lord,
Yo.
Bad advice.
That's cold, bro. That's cold, but that's real. That's how you gotta be, and you gotta be able to make jokes about it. Like, look, man, you gonna have to ask your mama why you ain't got no daddy.
And that's why I can't get jiggy. I can't get jiggy with this, but I understand it. I can't get jiggy with this, but I understand it. But basically, they got to the point that what I kind of foreshadowed, and of what was going to come. Where if you draw the hard line that this man is drawing, if you draw that hard line, you got to be willing to basically not see your kids, not be a part of their life, and then at some point they're gonna find themselves 18 years old. You maybe have a conversation with them and explain it to them, or you can be like, hey, and go ask your mama, but your mama probably gonna say, her side of the story. So it's like you're gonna find yourself your kids growing up without you in their life, and you explaining it to them later when they turn 18. Like I know some situations like that where, like, hell, Corey Holcomb talked about that. Like I don't love your mama. Therefore I don't love you, and I ain't putting up with no bullshit. And sometime later down the road, when you're older, we could probably become friends. Like,
didn't we cover that? I think we actually covered that clip.
Yes, we did.
And he said, "If I don't love your mom, I ain't gonna love you like that." Like it was some cold-blooded logic to it, though. Like I couldn't be upset or offended by it. But here's the thing, though. Like, all right, let's say that 18 years go by and the kid comes back, right? My position is this, right? For the last 18 years, your mama got you them sneakers you wanted, right? She got you the PlayStation, whatever you wanted, right? She got you them clothes you wanted, right? You got your polo, your Jordans, got your haircut. Your mama got you everything you wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why she ain't get you a daddy? Because she ain't want you to have one. It's really simple. She was in charge of procuring all of the necessary resources for the last 18 years. And now all of a sudden, it's my fault she didn't give you this one thing. It was her job to give you all these other things. She gave you all those other things. Why she didn't give you this one?
What do you say to and okay, so a man says that to his kid, and then he's like, but you're the dad. Why weren't you there? Why weren't you there?
It was her responsibility. If she wanted me there, I'd have been there. Simple as that. And then it becomes like, oh, so you should have fought. What you want me to beat? You want me to beat your mama up so I can raise you? I could have done that. I could have beat your mom up and raised you, but I didn't think you would have appreciated that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading this chat. Say that again. I heard somebody get beat up. What'd you say?
No. The question becomes like, oh, you didn't fight for me. You're like, all right, so what do you want me to do? You want me to beat her up so I can raise you? And then like I could have done that, but I didn't think you would have appreciated me beating your mom up. So it's like, all right, I'm just gonna, wait it out.
Sir Tice in the building with the $5 Cashapp. Do appreciate that. It's going back to the thing that I always say, and it cracked me up when women say this. They'll say in the same tone as the woman that was on this panel, like, y'all need to fight for y'all kids. But it's like, okay, who are we fighting? Fight who? The courts? Nope. The system? Nope. Government? Nope. The state? Nope. Y'all need to fight for y'all kids. Who are we fighting? Who are we fighting? You. So it's the banker. It's the person who breaks in a house. When they walking out with you, when they walking out with your shit, they basically saying, "Look, y'all need to fortify these windows and upgrade your security system. Get a pit bull or something." Like, damn, this was too easy. It's like, but with like moral, with moral righteousness in their voice, man, y'all need to step up and start fighting for y'all kids. It's like, yeah, so that's where it gets goofy on that end of the argument. The other end, the other side of it is you could argue that whatever barriers were in the way, you could argue that you supposed to, when you're kids, you're supposed to do it. All right, you're supposed to be there. Like the kid, he's 18, he's standing in front of you. He's asking, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? The kid, okay, it's one thing the woman who was the person putting up the brick walls saying, why didn't you fight? But now the kid, when he finally able to walk, climb over that brick wall himself and get to you, is like, okay, why didn't you fight for me? Why didn't you fight for me? It's like that. That's when it can be a harder conversation than to just say, yeah, your mom was a bitch. It's like, but that may very well be true. That may very well be true. But it turns into a more complex conversation. It turns into a more complex conversation. I'll just say that. It turns into a more complex conversation. I'll put it there. But thank you for the super chat. There, I said it. He says, very important convo. Black men are socialized to never go full force when opposing black women, from custody issues to job performance, even when she aims for the throat. Absolutely do it. Right. True Hype in the building says that man is cold-blooded. How many men can truly be that cold-blooded though? On that Bernie Mac F them kids level. Yeah. No, it's a cold-blooded element to it. It's a cold-blooded element to it. And I'm not that cold-blooded. I can admit that. There was moments in the custody thing where I had to get cold-blooded and reveal some things that I took no joy in revealing, but I had to do what I had to do to get the win. But other than that, but I'm not cold-blooded in terms of that walking away. I'm not cold-blooded in terms of walking away. I can't, I can't do that. And that could be the difference of, your kids were born having legitimate kids versus illegitimate kids. That could be that difference. Hood conservatives referred to that, and I had to stop and think on it. Would I have a more hood conservative type view on it, or view more like the guy in the video that we were reviewing? If I just got some chick pregnant, maybe I would have a different view on it. But all my kids been with me 100% since birth. When that divorce happened, I was like, I got to roll up my sleeves and fight. I got to roll up my sleeves and fight. But thank you for the super chat, True Hype. Appreciate that. Carlo in the building with the $15, Canadian, whatever you call their money. But thank you very, very much for that. Appreciate it. He says, so is it over for marriage since niggas prefer baby mamas over that? Who said niggas prefer baby mamas over that? I don't know where that came. I don't know do you know where that statement he just made came from?
Nah, I'm lost. I have no idea.
I mean, what do we get for $10?
Everything you want.
It may very well be over for marriage, but I don't think it's because dudes prefer baby mamas. I think one of the conundrums or unintended consequences, or perhaps intended consequences, is that if marriage continues to be an undesirable proposition, the end result of that is there will be on a macro level a higher percentage of baby mamas. So I think baby mamas are the end result, rather intended or not. But thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that.
I think blaming men for baby mamas is just over. There's just no logical reason to blame men for the baby mama. With all we know, with all we see, with all we hear from women, I think we can accept the fact that women make choices and women have their own logic, air quotes. But it's definitely off the men at this point.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I 100% agree. But let's get. Oh damn, we had an hour and 14 mark. So I may open this. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead.
Y'all
and
gonna
open
keep
it.
up fucking with them women about them kids, and get what? That's how your license
Jesus
get
Christ.
took. And
Bro,
that's how
I
a lot
never
of y'all
tell no
Negroes
man
get
to
put in
bow
jail.
down and kiss his baby mama ass, bro. But this is bad advice, fam.
I ain't telling
Like
them to
there
kiss
has
no
to be a
ass.
middle ground there
That's what you
somewhere.
telling them. That's what
No,
you
I'm
telling
not.
them. I'm telling you to get the hell away from that motherfucking
Right, you tell them to walk away,
He
and what I'm
said
saying is there
never
has to
care
be
about
somewhere
your
in the
child
middle,
again.
Vic. There's somewhere
Most
in the
men
middle.
want to be civil with the
believe he
mother
said
of their
that, but he
children so
did.
they can see their child if the relationship don't work.
Man, y'all be
Most
holding on
we
to that
don't care
bullshit.
about how we don't
Y'all
care
be
about
talking about
how
a
y'all
lot of men
feel,
be talking about
long
I
as you
want
let
to
us
see
see
my
our
child.
child.
Only
And
thing
the
y'all want
moment
to
we
see
say, long as you let us see our
I just even hate the whole. We don't care about how y'all feel. Long as y'all let us see our child. Let us see. It's like just the mere fact of the nature of the conversation to where that is normal. The whole concept of let us see our child is
What did I tell you years ago when we first?
I
I just one
remember.
of the first things about us talking. I mean, first things we talked about, and I said the woman owns the child to the point of death. Essentially, she can actually just decide to terminate the kid. Her rights over the child are essentially absolute, and you have to establish your rights. You have to go out and fight for your rights, and then a judge, usually some white lady, now it'd be some black ladies, they determine how many rights you actually do get. It's not even like you get your rights. It's no, I'll give you some of this and a little bit of that and maybe one of those.
Yeah. So the link is in the chat. Anybody want to come up and have a piece of this conversation, you are welcome to hop on board. We are joined by True Hype in the building. Appreciate you coming on through. Go ahead. You have the floor. You have the mic.
Yo, my man was like, he said, hey, F it. Hey, I gotta live my life. Hey, but doesn't that sound like mama gotta have her life too?
What do you mean?
You ain't never heard
I'm not
like,
familiar with the term.
No, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
like you ain't never heard that?
Yeah.
Maybe, but just go ahead. I mean, explain what you mean.
No, I'm saying like, okay, so like he's basically saying he has to walk away for his peace. And hell, Hood Conservative did a video on the one chick or whatever that was like, oh, every time I look at him, I hate him because he reminds me of his dad. And then she's like sending him home to it's the same kind of concept. So it's like, yo, we all talk about mental health and all this stuff. So the baby moms happens to be bad for the mental health. I'm not advocating for anybody to lead their children, but I'm also like not going to sit up here as judgmental as the rest of society is going to be whenever somebody does do that. I mean, hell, the Ayanla chick that she had that dude on where, was it she had like convinced her daughters that the man molested, his daughters. And then she's like, oh, you should have fought harder. What are you supposed to do in that case?
This is what I mean. That's why I immediately went where I went when I said, well, you want me to beat your mom up? Because like the level of evil that women are capable of doing and then encouraged to do, the only thing men really think to do to a woman is to beat her up. Like, and frankly, I don't even think that compares to like, you can destroy the fabric of my life. You see what I mean? Like you put that type of charge on a man, you got to deal with the legal, the social, the familial ramifications. You got all these layers of misery that never stop. And it's like, how do you really fight that?
I mean, back in the day, they had domestic discipline. They had videos of the 40s, 50 housewife, like actually like being pleased that the husband put them in their place. Isn't that crazy how far we come?
I think you can't even like play jokes like that on TV without getting some type of warning or you get your channel struck or something like that. You probably can't even show those memes like that.
No, I showed one. I know what you're talking about. I'm actually trying to find it right now.
Well, I mean,
trying to find it right now, but no, it's a thing. I get what y'all talking about. I get completely what y'all talking about. That you can't show that stuff, but it was a lot of those clips are resurfacing on the internet. And for some reason, I can't find them. I can't find it. Hell, did they take my video down? Shit, where is it at? Anyway, I'll look for it.
They probably
oh no,
did,
here
man.
we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I don't got it ready to go, so yeah, keep talking. I'm about to get it.
Well, I mean, KS talked about domestic discipline, and everybody lost their minds because they didn't even know what it meant, and they lost their minds.
I mean, even to like drop the sort of shock and awe with the phrase domestic discipline, like it has I get it's a little bit triggering, like domestic discipline. I understand why certain people would be triggered by it, but let's drop that for a moment, right? I covered this thing with what's his name, Steven Crowder and his wife a couple of weeks ago, right? So Steven Crowder was on the Ring doorbell cam. He had an argument with his wife, and it went public, and everybody made him out to be like, you would have thought that he kicked his pregnant wife in the stomach. The way they talked about the man, right? It's like. Right, I was just you read my mind, bro. Like, not only did he kick her in the stomach, she was at the top of the stairs too, and like the way they talked about it, and then when you actually watch the video, and I'm like, bro, at best or worse, whatever, at most he's an asshole. That's the most you could say about that. He was being an asshole, and he was saying some things that one is out of context because we don't know what's going on in their marriage, and then two, I mean, she was on some shit herself. Like I can see a situation here where she's being a quiet terrorist and he's trying to respond quiet. He's trying to respond politely to the quiet terrorism. And now we're watching this little snapshot of that. And it's like, bro, anything you say as a man to a woman will be held against you in a court of public opinion, and if not law. And it's like the question now becomes, what are men allowed to do?
Yeah, but what's even wild about that? No, like I didn't even pick up on it the first time, even after watching your stream, because I think your stream was like the third time I watched it. But another cat said, look, they got the rolling clock or whatever, the timer, like in the bottom corner, and look at the jump cuts. And so there were certain times that was edited. So we didn't even get the raw footage. And in this day and age, I don't trust nothing. It ain't straight up raw. I edit video.
No, yeah, I caught that when I was playing the video. It was definitely edited. There were jump cuts. Actually, I noticed the jump cut when I was playing the video, and I was like, wait a minute, let's go back a second. Yeah, you can tell because once you actually, I guess if you edit videos, and I've done some video editing, so I can see little telltale signs, and so you're watching it, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, something happened there. And I think to the casual viewer, you just think you're watching something play out naturally. And that's the evil of television. That's how easy propaganda is sometimes.
Yeah, but it wasn't subtle jump cuts either. I mean, there's big like shifts. I think that certain people don't want to see certain things. When it fits your personal narrative. I mean, look what Candace did. It's so disturbing. It's hard to watch. Oh my God. And then it's just like, there's like trees are like swaying. It's like, he's smoking a cigar, and there's like a couple having an argument similar to like, that one time I went to Chili's.
At one time you went to Chili's.
No, I'm just saying, like in regular life, you'll see couples like damn near about to have blows. And that was like tame compared to some of the arguments I've seen in public.
Yeah. But anyway,
Daddy, you spank Mama. Daddy, you spank Mama.
You're darn tootin' I did.
That means you love her.
That's what I've been trying to tell her.
Her face
sounds about right to me.
Her face though. I love that part. Like, and this is how we used to be as people. We understood these things, and now it's like we rather live in this lie. And the worst part about the lie is that a lot of the lie is weaponized against men specifically. We're kind of finding that out late in the game now.
All right. We are joined by Cold Black in the building. Go ahead. What's on your mind? You got the floor. You got the mic.
All right. What's going on, fellas? Y'all doing all right today, man?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, I was talking to somebody about this similar topic the other day, man. A lot of guys, man, they wouldn't accept aggression from other men, especially if it came down to being involved with their children, right? But somehow it's this like default expectation for men to accept aggression from women in the form of using children. Uh, so like if a woman playing with you or playing with your children or trying to cause a rift between a relationship between a son and a father or a daughter and a father, that is a serious level of aggression. Now, I think y'all kind of alluded to the point where, if you do fight back on that aggression, then you face legal ramifications. So it kind of boxes some men into a point where they just had to say, shit, fuck this shit. I'm just gonna wash my hands and you do what you're gonna do because you're not gonna really, you're not gonna have an opportunity to run me in my life like I'm one of your children. So yeah, man, I think a lot of men starting to wake up, man, and uh, it's important that we bring the issue to the forefront, man, because this shit is common as fuck. I've even dealt with it. You know, I broke up with my kid's mom a few years ago. And her response was to, "Oh, my kid's not coming over there. My kid's not doing this, X, Y, and Z," and it becomes her kids at a point. But you end up having to go to family court and paying $1,200 a month in child support. All of a sudden, it's my child. So we just gotta recognize the aggression, man, and just trying to figure out a way to combat that shit, bro.
I'm glad you called it that because that I think when you label it as aggression, when you accurately describe it as aggression, it frames things differently. Because it was something I wanted to comment on earlier. Something that Chaz said. He was saying how just having a woman in your life, women going to do stuff, right? And yeah, I get the sentiment, like symbolically, women represent chaos and all that. But I think what that does subconsciously over time is like we are raised giving women the pass of bad behavior, and essentially we've been socialized to accept aggression from females, from women, and call it anything but aggression, calling it female behavior, calling it girls being girls, girls going wild, hot girl summer. No, it's aggression. And not only is it aggression, I will actually double down on the concept and say that sexual aggression is a thing that women use as well. It's different. It looks different compared to men, but women definitely operate on a level of sexual aggression too.
Well, I mean, it's a domination kind of technique. I mean, like hell, like in my early days, you know what I'm saying, when I used to go to nightclubs and stuff like that, a dude to lay you out for like almost stepping on his shoes. So it's and then the fact that women like go so far and try to trigger you. I watched a video this morning. This dude lost his balance because he put all his power into hitting this lady in the face. But she's like, yeah, I stole X. She's like, I stole 17 bands from you and gave it to your homeboy. And I was like, wow. And that the Tyrese joint, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think Hood, you said it was a beat upable offense. I'm just like, yo, this is crazy, man. I was like, you can't be thinking. And then she's just gonna sit up here and just think like, you just gonna lay down like the whole time when she's trying to do everything in her power to get you to react. I'm like, it's because women don't understand like men's, physical power or physical nature, and that's a problem.
Well, let me make the picture a little bit clearer for people who may have a misconception. So, like the idea of a woman holding your children back from you in whatever way, right? Legalities aside, white men's laws aside for a moment, that's kidnapping. And there's a very base response to somebody who's attempting to kidnap your children. And as a man, you're essentially putting all of that base response in a quiet place. You're putting all that behind you because you're not really. It's not socially acceptable to act on that base response. But let's never get past that base reality. This is like an act of kidnapping here, and if we were being serious about it, we would treat it in that way and not hide behind simple silly things like women gonna do shit to you.
I'm just like I'm like, yo, for everybody advocating, against any kind of domestic violence, the fact that they don't advocate for the what do you call it, like the conflict resolution before it gets to that point is an issue in itself as well. So you can just say whatever at any point in time to this dude, and everybody looks at it after the fact. I've always like, the whole time I've been looking at like, the World Star Hip Hop fight videos and all that stuff. I've always wondered, not like, just in the moment what I was watching, what led up to that point. Like if you see a dude getting his ass whipped, depending on the level of ass whooping, you like, man, he must have did something. But nobody says that in certain other arenas.
I've learned to make that second observation. I've learned over time. Like I remember back in the day, like when the Chris Brown thing happened, and I was sort of like, "Damn, Chris, that was fucked up." You should never do that. The normal symptom shit. And then life happens, time goes by, whatever. And years later, I was walking down the street one day, and it's like this couple off, a little off to the side of me, and they was like far away from me, like there was a little distance away anyway, so I can hear the argument basically. So as I'm walking down, I can hear them fussing, and so I ain't paying no mind. I keep walking, whatever. And then I hear like a thunderclap, like the skies shook a little bit, and he slapped the fire out this chick, and I was just looking over there like, damn, it's fucked up. Wonder what she did to deserve that. And then I kept it pushing. Like the evolution was complete by then, because you sort of learn that, yeah, your initial reaction, you may have been raised with, that whole protect girls thing. But, after living amongst women for a while, you kind of realize that every time a woman gets slapped, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Oh, it might be a little bit off topic, but as you were saying that, I was thinking a perfect screen name would be like Usher's Bloody Nose, something like that, man. Because the whole Chris Brown joint.
No, I don't. I heard about that.
Even that seems like a simping kind of situation, and where like it looked like Chris Brown was having words with that one chick, and then everybody was upset with Chris for having words with her. But the thing I kind of wanted to point out, it was something else I wanted to talk about. You ever seen this one video clip of it's this Indian guy? It's like an Indian game show or something like that. And so
the How Could You Slap?
Yeah, bro. I actually like the whole. If you watch how that plays out, it's so blatant. And I've seen this type of thing play out in like the hood or whatever, where it's a chick wilding out, doing all extra, putting her hands on a dude, and then a dude put her hands on, he slap her or whatever, and then everybody all of a sudden notices something going on, and now they want to get involved. And I'm like, damn, this shit is global. And so like the How Can You Slap video, they own like a public, like a game show or whatever. So, I don't know if it's live or whatever, but it's in front of mad people. And he says something to her. It wasn't even nothing really crazy, but he says something to her she didn't like. And so she slapped him. And she was like, how can you slap me? And so he slapped her back, and she tried to fight, and then the crowd rushes in, and all the men try to like jump on him, and they want to fight him. He wound up getting beat up a little bit, but the whole time he was killing. Yeah, I would sue too, because the whole time he's like, "How can you slap?"
And I'm talking about he like the rumor is he sued and he won big money in India.
Good, he should have.
How could you slap? How could you slap? How could you slap? And they pulled him to the side or whatever and handled him like a dude jumping on the Dave Chappelle stage.
Hey, I got a question though, fellas. This just a thought, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this. Like, like I said, this aggression or baby mamas playing games with dude, it's been going on for decades. It ain't a new phenomenon, right? but at the same time, uh, it has been effective. It has been effective. And my question is this something that they do? Because I've even seen women who said they wouldn't do it, right? And I want to know, do y'all think it's like a default response? Do they like subconsciously think, hey, I don't have that many options because my baby daddy left me. Niggas ain't gonna want a bitch with children, so I gotta effect punishment on this man. Like, you think that's a part of an element of
It's too many words. You was already wrong once you used that many words.
it?
There's no way in hell they're
Okay.
thinking that deeply. It's way too many syllables and
Well,
sounds and thoughts and
I did say
ideas.
subconscious. I did say
Nah,
subconscious.
what I do think is happening though is like you see how so the clip we were responding to is basically like you got one group of men telling like this one guy, it might have been another guy agreeing with him, but you basically got guys trying to shame other guys into doing the right thing, right? When have
Yeah.
you ever seen women do that to each other, especially in these situations when it comes to like children and custody and sharing parental time or whatever? Women are more likely to teach each other how to ruin a man than how to get along with a man. And I think while men are
So you
actually
think
more
that's
likely to teach each other how to be like moral actors and behave with like responsibility and shit.
yeah. I mean, I think they put a whole lot more stock into, more importance into not attracting the mate, but the importance of them having somebody, right? So like, even though they don't act like it, they don't do the things that men ask for or whatever. But at the same time, I think subconsciously they thinking like, hey, I'm supposed to have a man, and this man left, so I got to exact revenge on him. Because I mean, you also hear women that are attractive or fairly independent or decent or whatever say, no, he ain't got to do nothing. I ain't never kept him away from his kids. He can come see him whenever, right? But then you do have the other women that if the man is heavily involved with the children, that man catches more slack. I mean, I've even back tested this. Honestly,
Me
if,
too. It
if,
does work that way,
it
and
does work that way.
that's kind
The
of what we
more
were
the more
talking about.
invested you are, the more likely she gonna pull some bullshit on you. Then when you fall back, it's hey, can you get him? Can you pick him up? X, Y, and
Yep.
Z. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I actually didn't have that. I didn't have anything against what the dude was saying when we were watching the clip because, like I said, you call it back testing, but yeah, I've back tested it myself and I've been through that, and I've gotten an element of success to it. I still wound up in court later, but and for a while it did work because the problem is, and as men we got to accept this, and this is like somebody alluded to this earlier. We are not encouraged to just go scorched earth total war when it comes to women. And I think Bernard, you had the lead attorney up here. I think maybe probably the first time you ever had him up here, and he basically said that, like, listen, when it comes down to these affairs, you have to be willing to play like hardball to the extreme. You can't have any sympathy, any sort of like moral sensibilities about what you should do. Like you come up, it's talk about legal strategies here, but whatever it is that the law allows, you have to do it so you can win. And we
Yeah.
don't really think like that as men, and that's where you kind of get fucked up because I wound up back in court because I realized that I really had like we were talking about, I have no rights. Without going to court, you are always at her whim, and that's the problem right there in a nutshell.
Well, even when going to court, you're at her whim to some degree. I mean, it's on her. The kids like and the kids are legally hers. It's just I know definitely in the state of Michigan, the mother is the presumed custodial legal parent of the child. The man only gets legal rights when he takes legal action against her. So, and even then, he's getting legal rights at a disadvantage, or so you're
They're not even
you're
rights. They're more like privileges. You got to fight for your privileges.
yeah.
Right.
So that's literally what it is. That's literally what it is. So I don't even like to look at it from that perspective. Like Damn, I'm
It's
missing what
hella
I
disheartening
said.
when you got
Go ahead.
guys, you know, like you said, well, you should do this, you should do X, Y, and Z. They don't even have a concept that the man has been wrong initially. Like they just look past it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, there are things that you could do. Okay, I don't have a problem with guys saying you should do this, you should do that. I mean, you should offer solutions. So there are there are things that you should do. The only thing I don't like is when people make it seem like it's ironclad. If you just did this, then you would get this result. It's more like make sure you do this, make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's to reduce the percentages that you will, that you won't get what you want, or that you will get what you want, or do this and you will increase your percentages that you will end up getting what you want. You're just increasing percentages. That's it. So but it's no ironclad thing out there that you can do. That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Unless of course she got some. I mean, again, that if she got major problems and major issues, then excuse me. If she got major problems and major issues, but then even then, it goes back to what you just mentioned about lead attorney, how you got to be cold blooded and cutthroat, and got to come out swinging with all the information. Like you gotta be willing to play dirty. You got to be willing to fight dirty. That's just all to it. Go ahead.
My bad. I was gonna say, like, what's wild is most people don't have any kind of interface with, like, this stuff happens until it happens. But if you look on the inverse side, like, men don't have no lifetime television for men. You know what I'm saying? So like there's no examples or reinforcement on, like, how to handle yourself. There's no, like, CPR first aid training for, like, how a man should do this. It's just like, hey, hopefully he navigates the thing. Don't ever put your hand on a woman. Like, I don't know, just general stuff, right? But then you have this person that's willing to try to do anything, mentally to, like, abuse you. It's just off, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the same society that sees that will still say black men ain't shit, and black men don't want to take care of their children. Meanwhile, that same person that let that come out of their mouth have family members or a mother or a brother or a sister or an auntie that's, invoking the same bullshit on another man.
Yeah, but in that the same thing is, like, dancing to the booty shaking music, saying he ain't talking about me. No, like they separate, they compartmentalize.
I know. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Yeah. No, it be. Look, I said it before. I know of somebody who was on stage at a a local BLM event while simultaneously screwing her boyfriend or screwing her ex over through the system about his kids. But at the same time, you got your fist in the air, concerned about, Black lives and this or that or blah 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 blah. But there you are in the system and like using it in the worst way, using it in the worst way to deny access to somebody who's actively trying to get joint custody. A man fighting to be in the life of his kids, to get 50-50 custody. And this person who can actually stand on a Black Lives Matter stage talking about Black lives and blackity this and black that and black, shit, dude, got goddamn dashiki on and shit. But trying to keep a black man away from his kids. It's like, yes, they compartmentalize all kind of shit.
Right. And people say what they want to say about Rolo, but I be listening to the guy, man. And one thing that did stick with me when he said that women don't have a hard time holding two conflicting thoughts if the end result is them optimizing their mating strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they can be BLM and have a nigga on child support, and they don't even have a second thought about it. They can be on OnlyFans but want a husband, but they don't even have a second thought about it. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's a weird dynamic, man.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people don't care to be logically consistent across the board, and that therein lies the problem.
And honestly, yeah, this is why I don't think when you're dealing with when you're speaking to men like broadly in this type of setting, right? Making a logical appeal isn't enough. You have to apply a little bit of emotion to it. That's why you have to introduce, like when you mentioned the aggression element, you have to sort of create stark realities. We have allies and enemies, and aggression makes you an enemy. That's why the conversation is, when is it okay to view him as an op? Like, are these behaviors that make it okay to define you as an op? Because now the conversation becomes like, how come so many of y'all act like my enemy?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when you said that. I just heard that Muhammad Ali speech about not going to Vietnam.
Yeah. Explain it for those that don't know. We got an audience here. God damn it! Explain it for those that don't know.
My bad. I ain't on the show currently. I'm on your show. My bad.
Go ahead. Explain it for those that
like
don't know.
he said, ain't no Viet Cong ever called me nigga. Hard R, right?
And ain't no white man ever hid my kids from me.
Yeah.
Damn. Yo, that needs to be on a t-shirt, man.
Like real shit. And when we talk about like politics, and somebody's got a wild echo too, but we talk about like politics and everything, this is, I think, one of the blind spots for both parties. This whole men's issue, like voting and not voting, but parental rights and paternity. This is like the biggest political blind spot, and whoever can tap into that vein will probably like attract more male voters than ever before.
Yeah. I'm shocked that no actual Republican has truly. Well, I mean, like you said, a lot of them are blue pill. And
not just that.
And the Democrats, they understand they need the women, so it's like that's why it's a political gray area that nobody ever even trespasses on. It just seems from an optic standpoint because the Republican Party presents themselves as conservative and more patriarchal. So it's like in our mind we think it's coming from over there. We think that's the place where we're going to get it from, but it's probably not. It's probably not. That's a tough one to probably swallow as well.
Yeah, I think there's a stark or maybe a fine difference between say being blue pilled and then being patriarchal. Because I don't think there's anything patriarchal about believing all women, as they say, and that's kind of the Republican stance when it comes to like fatherhood and paternity. Is just listen, give her the money now, and we'll sort this out, years later.
You said that's the Republican stance, you think?
Yeah, when it comes to like fathers' rights, the Republicans are essentially believe all women. That's why Republicans keep putting out like bills to make men pay more child support. Essentially, they're on some believe all women shit when it comes to that.
Well, that's probably because their interests, right? Their vested interests are in the women's interests, so they probably got some money tied up into it.
Somewhat, yeah.
So they don't want to completely turn off like the women like that by angering them and getting them to mobilize against them. Because you get some women together, man, they on certain topics they will get lockstep in line and they will get you up out of here.
This is the national political version of happy wife, happy life, right? Both parties are in this trap of happy wife, happy life. They would rather sacrifice inch by inch, lose territory inch by inch, than upset the feminine goddess, because women are gonna stop doing whatever it is women do that's so goddamn critical to everything.
I also think Republicans know that they need. I mean, I guess they also feel just like the Democrats. You need men to fall on this sword, or be sacrificial to the well-being of women, right? Like you need these men to be parts of the system. You need them to feed the system in order to sustain it in a way. So they don't want to jump all the way out there and say, "Nah, you bitches gonna do mandatory DNA tests, parental alienation. We stepping down on that." And you know what I'm saying? Them going to patriarchal ideas would, I mean, it'll take some men out of out of the slaughterhouse. You know what I'm saying?
This is one of my criticisms of pro-blackness, and I talk about this concept of male sacrifice too. Like black culture kind of has a male sacrifice sort of weird death cult built into it, and pro-blackness exists on that male sacrifice to the extent of the death. This is why we have like the dead black male causes ever since Emmett Till, and then now we got like George Floyd and all that. We every so often we need a dead nigga to move the fucking crowd forward.
Yeah, but even the folk heroes, look at John Henry.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't even get nothing out of that.
Exactly.
He competed to beat the machine and still died
for nothing. And that's my whole point about like pro-blackness. And much in the same way you were just making an argument that it's all built on self-sacrifice, but you get nothing in exchange. Like, I'm not against the concept of sacrifice or even self-sacrifice, right? I'm not really going against that objectively, but what I'm saying is sacrifice without reward is slavery. And so for the men, we're arguing of a position of essentially like debt slavery.
Mm.
Yeah, you're financially responsible, right? You're criminally liable if you don't meet these financial obligations, and you have no authority over the situation whatsoever. That, in my mind, is a form of it's debt slavery. You are now a debt slave. You just have to pay money and get nothing for it. Maybe one day you might get a Father's Day card 18 years from now.
Hey, it's mad funny. Like I'm glad you tagged me in that sent me the link to that post or whatever about the administrator or whatever saying about the kids not being able to read. But I mean, it's that kind of stuff. Whatever, be like, yo, is it true? And most people aren't willing to even start with, is it true? They just want to live in this fantasy land, as you alluded to, or as you said earlier. You stated earlier. You got to live in this lie or whatever and act like the dog on the chair or whatever where the rest of the house is on fire. You got to try to tell yourself that everything's fine. I mean, it's even to the point now where that one Republican senator, Josh Hawley, is trying to advocate on air to younger men that, hey, come around. Don't check out from society. Give them some incentives to not check out from society. Hell, teach the damn boys how to read.
Hey, I keep saying it. You got to give me something. Money in my pocket, meat on my table, something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they pretty much just expecting us to just operate off that default blue pill, male protector dynamic type shit. That what y'all should want to do. Y'all should want to be part of the transaction benefit of women. And he ain't slowly but surely dudes checking out of this shit. Like they do need incentive. Meanwhile, people who on the opposite side, they don't really. They'll quote the stats. All women are upward mobility. We're graduating at the highest rates, starting businesses, and XYZ, but nothing ever crossed their mind about even the playing field and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all ever watch wrestling back in the day?
Yeah,
of course.
You remember back in the day where they would have like one of those tag team matches, and one of the tag team partners would turn during the match and start beating up his partner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what I kind of imagine some of these relationships are like. So you got this person that's supposed to have your back, and you got to watch your six and your front all at the same time. That's super stressful.
Yeah. Yep, no doubt. Shout out to everybody in the building. Yeah, make sure y'all hit the like button. We're probably about to wrap this thing up at the 2-hour mark and get the hell up on out of here. Actually, we'll go ahead and do start the final words now, then probably at an end right. January man called it right before I said it. It's like, I got to work on my body language. People be telling me when people be calling it out when I'm about to end the show just from looking at body language.
Yeah, I can
I
see
gotta
it.
work. I gotta go off camera when I get tired. I done said all I had to say. I ain't got nothing else to say about this shit. But no, we're gonna go around, get some last words here from everybody. And True Hype, go ahead. You can get your final words on the general topic, and we get the hell up out of here.
It's wild, right? So like I still don't like the idea of, like just hitting women or anything like that. But anytime I see certain situations or whatever, in my mind that Chris Rock joke like comes to my head. And I won't say the one version of I like change it up or whatever. I'm not saying he should have hit her, but I understand.
Right. Actually, no, you said it worse than he did. He just said, I'm not saying he should have did it, but I understand that did it. You could apply that to anything. But anyway, but go ahead. Cold Black in the building with your final words, final thoughts on this.
Yeah, man. I just think we gotta kind of get away from punishing men for simple failed relationships and punishing them long term. This stuff has long term effects on the mental health of people. You'll have people that'll come out and speak about the mental health of men and suicide rates, but they never kind of draw the conclusion with the data as far as like men after divorces, suicide probability going up, and being alienated from your children, man. That's a long term psychological effects to that. And like I said, like I started off with, man, that is a result of the aggression. So I can't tell no man how to fight back, man, once he been slapped in the face, and that's just it, man. I appreciate you for letting me up too, Bernard.
Yep, no doubt. Hood conservative. What's your final thoughts, final words of wisdom before we get up out of here?
Yeah. And again, I guess we're gonna close on a concept of female aggression here, because I think that's what the guy Vic was sort of responding to. And you see how the male response to aggression is fairly simple. It's easy for us to figure out how to deal with aggression, but female aggression is a different kind of thing, and it's not really it's not socially acceptable to respond in the masculine way to female aggression. So now the conversation switches to, what can you do? And we're at this point as a society where the only safe thing to do is to just not play. It's like, war games. This is an interesting game you got here, man. The only way to win is to not play. And I guess that's the position that the guy Vic was taking. It's a dirty game, but if you want to win, look, don't even mess around with it. Maybe if the kids, if they come out the other end, if they survive, then maybe you get your kids later on, but you're not really gonna do yourself any favors playing this game. And that's a cold, hard pill to swallow. And so that's kind of the conversation I wanted to have today. Thanks for having me up, man.
All right. And we about to get up out of here. Are you going live today?
I don't know, probably not, but we'll see. You never know.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, with that being said, we're about to get up out of here. We'll be back. We'll be back on I don't even know if I'm going live Monday morning. Definitely going live Monday night. Definitely going live Monday night. The night shows still on the Monday, Wednesday. Did you just play that from a reference earlier in the show? You just was sitting on it. That ain't had nothing to do with what we was talking about right now. Oh man, but no. Make sure y'all tune in for the night shows. Make sure y'all tune in for the night shows. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Peace. We gone.